Hello, everyone. Coming up on PGTV Sports Central, we have a special show, and if you like aviation, stick around for the next hour. And welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson, and if you just couldn't stand that thrilling opening we just did,
that was exciting.
I mean, it was unbelievable. To my right, Mr. Hank Longo. He's my co-host for today's show, as in every show. It's good to see you, man.
Good seeing you, and looking forward to a fun show. We have some great guests, and of course, we want to thank our sponsor for our first segment of Sports Central, the Parkview Hotel in beautiful Winter Haven. Thank you so much.
Well, the capital of aviation, not just in Florida, not just in the United States, but in the world, is going to be here in Central Florida's Polk County. And if you're an aviation enthusiast, sport aviation, whatever it may be, we've got some special guests coming up, including Stacie Rine from the Sun and Fun Fly-In in Lakeland. And Hank, we also have a very special guest, an old-time friend of ours.
And one of
not that we're old, but she's an old-time friend.
One of our favorites from Fantasy of Fight, Jennifer Gallegher.
Hello.
So nice
You're
to have
supposed to
you
follow
here.
up with
I know, that's it. This is my segment.
There
He's
you go.
staring at Hank.
Yeah, just you. I like it. I like it. We'll
want
talk
some
to you later.
sunglasses?
So anyhow,
We got some stuff going
okay,
on.
we got a good show going already. Hey, what have we got going on at Fantasy of
We've
Flight?
got lots of stuff happening at Fantasy of Flight, just like we always do. We don't just do one thing at a time. We've got a World War I show coming up, April 6th. It's the first time we are having...
A World War I show?
Yeah. We have...
Kind of your era.
Oh, no, we be signing autographs. We're going to be flying some old-time airplanes, weather and airplane permitting. When I was leaving to come here, Kermit had the Fokker DR1 out. I have to slow down on that one just to keep it clean. But it is,
this is a family
the
show.
the Red Baron plane, the triplane.
Oh, wow.
So
really?
he had that out, and then I'm assuming he was going to make sure that was running for the show in a couple of weeks, the 6th of April.
So he has the fun of just pulling out whatever
His
airplane he
toys,
wants
yeah.
out of the hangar and taking it for a ride. Well, that's one of the things that makes the collection so special at Fantasy Flight is all these airplanes fly.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, weather and aircraft permitting, I think he learned the hard way. He was trying to get an aircraft up the other day and had a little malfunction. But, when you're dealing with aircraft that some of them are over 100 years old, it's going to happen. But that's coming up April 6th. The next weekend, or the next week, is Sun and Fun Week, like you mentioned. And we've got, we're the host for the Splash-In portion on that Thursday.
That's always a big deal.
Oh, my goodness. It is something. They have some. We went from expecting maybe 30, 40 planes to having over 100 one year, and then again weather plays a big part in how many show up. But it's really fun, and they come out, and that whole week is great for us. Again, you're coming to this area, you're going to come and see Fantasy of Flight.
Now, when you're sponsoring the Splash-In, they're landing on the lake at Fantasy of Flight. Is
Correct.
that the lake that they're landing in, and then they get over to Sun and Fun from there?
Yes, they come in and do competitions. It's not. Some of them come in the day before and camp out like they do over at Sun and Fun. But then that Thursday, the 11th, I think it is, they do competitions all day, spot landings and bombings and all kinds of things on the water.
What kind of competitions? Some people can watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's all lakeshore. So
Okay.
they line up and check it out, and they do crazy things. Nothing too dangerous.
So
but
what
it's
do they
a fun
do? Like
full
put
day.
Hank out there and a circus clown out?
And you got to try and dunk him.
Yeah, with water balloons.
We can talk to them about trying to expand that program.
Or just put him out there on a pair of skis, and you have a moving target.
Yeah,
We did have someone ski behind the duck one year.
dropping things on me from the airplane.
Aw.
This is sounding exciting.
I know.
So you get- now
Anything they can take a shot at you, Hank, they will.
Yeah, well.
But then we've got our big show on that Saturday.
Well, first of all, the Sun and Fun Splash-In. Now, these are amphibious. I mean, because you have what we all consider normal seaplanes, but then there's some sea belly land. I can't even remember what they're called.
Flying boats?
Yeah,
They don't have.
right.
Like there's a few of those.
Yeah, and they land on the fuselage. And then there's all sorts of different stuff, but that's the 11th of
Yes,
April.
that Thursday.
Okay, so that's 17, that's 19 days, something like that.
Boy, we better get mowing.
Yeah.
That's That's coming up.
Well, I know Sun and Fun is 17 days away,
Okay.
and the opening of Sun and Fun, and that's 2 days after. So that's big stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a great day for us, and hopefully the weather will keep beautiful like it is today, and have a great turnout.
Now, is there a charge for that? I mean, can you come out, or is it?
Yeah, there's just parking.
Okay.
To come out to the lakeside, it's $10 without a Sun and Fun wristband, and $5 with.
Oh, good deal. That's super stuff. And that's from 11 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon.
About that, yeah.
Weather permitting, which, you know, this time of year is always nice.
Yeah, and it depends on, too, how many planes show up and are in competition. They'll just trying to keep as many.
Where do they come from?
All over the world. I mean, we've had one world, mostly the country. I'm sure some from South America, but that is a Sun and Fun event. We are simply the host, and that's one of those things that people get confused if they want to come and land at our place. Normally, it absolutely comes through us, and we talk about group fly-ins and things like that. But for this event, it is we're simply
sport aviation, but it has a water component to it.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
when you say they're coming from all over the country and they're these amphibious planes,
well, they're not all. They have landing gear, so they can they can land on the land as well.
they can land on,
Yeah.
okay, because they're going to have to fly from, I mean,
Exactly.
they're
Yeah,
going to have to
they
make
come and
stops.
they taxi up. Yeah, they're not all. See, like our Sunderland, you know, that is a true flying boat.
Yeah.
That has to get taxied to the water to take off and land. These planes are amphibious planes or seaplanes that have landing gear as well. So they land on the water, and then they've got wheels and
The
they
little
taxi
wheels
up.
that they bolt on, and then they come on up on
Or
the
they
land.
could also land with that gear at another airport that doesn't have water. Is
Exactly.
that correct? So when they're traveling
They
here,
can refuel and things like
Yeah,
that. They don't have to look
okay.
for a pond somewhere and hope for
That's
the
why
best.
they have wheels.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
that's what I was clarifying for our viewing
Yeah,
audience.
I understand that. Let's talk about Mustangs and Mustangs.
All right.
Big deal coming
It's
up.
our Sweet 16.
Wow.
You can believe that. Yeah, and more cars every year. Last year we had over 400. This year
All
we're
Mustangs, or
No, it's open to all Ford
Ford
classic
dealers?
cars. Yeah.
Okay. Or Ford owners, I should say.
Yeah, we've seen some really just beautiful stuff out there. It's really just a great day for us. And we, of course, feature our P-51 Mustangs, invite other P-51s to fly in. And over the years, we've had quite a few. This year, I'm hoping for a Corsair to fly in. I have a good authority that a friend of ours with a Corsair
Now,
is
what's a
gonna fly in.
Corsair?
It's a Navy plane. It's one of that featured in our carrier deck.
Uh-huh.
It is super, super cool. The wings fold up, so it parks on the carrier.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that, in
Some of
fact,
their
I
loud
think,
stuff flying in.
You remember Matt Bablitz from Cypress Gardens? He's a Navy pilot, and I think he has flown the Corsair.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one fly yet, so I'm really excited. You know, ours is centered in our attraction where Fighter Town was, so it's
Yeah.
exciting to see big stuff flying in and loud stuff. And, you know, we're going to have some lookalikes and some entertainment, and it's just a really wonderful day to come out and view the collection and see just so much more bang for your buck on a day like that.
Well, Mustangs and Mustangs is April 13th.
Yes,
So
that's
all
it.
this stuff is going on, and we're going to talk to Stacie in just a
Oh, great.
minute about, you know, what's happening out at Sun and Fun, which is, I mean, and I emphasize more the fun than I do the sun, but it's we're going to get an update there in a minute.
Good.
But Mustangs and Mustangs, 16th annual, and it's April 13th from 10 in the morning until 6 p.m. So you have a full day out there.
Yeah, we're usually about 4. The show kind of winds down, and we're
Okay.
yeah. So we close at 5.
Yeah, that's
So just don't plan on
happy
coming
hour.
out later. Yeah, I've got stuff. It's Saturday night. No.
But the P-51 Mustang will be there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's-
both of ours, and who knows how many guest
Kermit gonna fly?
appearances. Absolutely,
Is it?
yeah, hope so.
That'll be cool. Every once in a while, we'll see him
Kermit.
flying around. You know, I don't know what he's doing. I guess he just likes to fly it.
Testing?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to get him warmed up.
And I imagine you need to get that aircraft out and flying on a somewhat of a scheduled basis, just so that it's just not sitting all the
Exactly,
time, you know,
yeah.
to keep things lubricated in the engine and just to make sure that they're running properly.
Functional. Yeah, that's a lot of people don't understand. Oh, well, so you can take any plane out of this collection and fly it today. Well, not necessarily. Just because they're in flyable condition, you know, sometimes the engines are pickled, like you say, and they kind of preserve them. So when they're not moving that off, you know, they don't get corroded and things rot out. So when he's going to fly something, it goes through an annual and the engines get checked and all that sort of stuff. So,
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's some neat stuff.
Imagine the risk factor goes up a little bit there, too.
Oh,
It's scary seeing your bread and butter flying a 100-year-old airplane out there, yeah, but he knows what he's doing.
Talk to us about legends and legacies. I know that last year we talked about...
I can help out there. I'm a legend. You're a legacy.
And it still gets ugly sometimes.
See, you were pelting him with water balloons. So
that's
touche.
true. Yeah, in the clown outfit.
Yeah. You seem to forget about those awful quick.
I got your back.
Thank you.
Yeah. World War I is coming up. That's the event on that Saturday.
Oh, that's the one. Okay.
Yeah. And then, gosh, I guess a month later we're having a D-Day
May
symposium.
3rd through the 4th is at least what my cheat sheet says here.
Good. I don't have one.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Normandy and beyond.
Yeah.
D-Day, Normandy and beyond.
Yes.
I mean, that's...
And we've got a superstar from that. We've got the C-47 airplane that actually participated in D-Day. That was the one that Kermit bought over last year, and it's wonderful to be able to have that on collection, in addition to some of the men that actually were there and reunite them. It's magical.
Maybe we ought to invite some of our folks from Washington, D.C. to come up or come down and a little reminder about what it took to get this country where it is today.
Yeah.
And preserving that, of course, is fantasy of flight, and so we certainly appreciate that. The First World War, you've got historians talking about the first real global conflict. Geez, I can't remember when that started. I want to say it's 1917.
Oh, do not fact check with me, sir. I do not have a cheat sheet.
Well, I can't remember.
I was talking about Mustangs.
We're going to get a viewer.
I certainly wasn't there.
Correct me on that one, but
believe me, they'll talk to you about the airplanes, and if something was not correct on that airplane, they will write in, or if a Jeep had a sticker that wasn't on the sticker originally. Yeah, there are historians out there, and I am not one of them. Yeah. But we're inviting Jack Tunstall from University of South Florida to come, and he's going to be our expert that day. And he's written books, and just fascinating guy. And we'll talk about some historic battles, how airplanes were introduced, and how that changed the way we really engage in warfare forever.
Okay, all this information. We have the 16th annual Mustangs and Mustangs. We have the Sun and Fun Splash In, which is on April 11th, April 6th, Legends and Legacies Symposium Series, and then the D-Day, Normandy and Beyond, May 3rd through the 4th. Where can people get more information other than just
us making
continually
things up?
Watching you on this show? Tell us
Flounder,
about
www.fantasyofflight.com.
Fantasyofflight.com.
That's it.
Spell it all out.
Okay, yeah, www.fantasyofflight.com.
Man, you'd be a good teacher. I know where you can put the dunce hat.
Oh, yeah. All right. For those of you playing the home game and keeping score.
I'm in timeout. At least I haven't been expelled. So.
No.
At least I had my own chair in the principal's office.
You get him back.
Mark, have a seat again, Mr. Jackson.
All right. Jennifer, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very
It's always a
much.
pleasure.
Always fun having you on.
I still want to call her Montague, Jennifer Montague, but it's Gallagher now.
It's Mrs. Gallagher.
It'll take me a couple of years to get used to that.
That's okay. Me too.
Yeah.
And he says my wife, I still look around.
Great stuff. Once again, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Whew, wow. Everyone, we've not quite finished with aviation because we have some more exciting guests, and we also talking about some boat racing that, this is the amateur sports capital of the world. Well, could be a lot of pros in there too with Tigers and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But what we are going to do is take you out to a very special event, Florida Jets with Frank Tiano. This was a real exciting event a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. Lots
of people and lots of radio-controlled jets. Make sure you check this out. Hank and Mark will be back right after this.
We got 300 radio-controlled jets, professional-grade radio-controlled jets, not little toys. And guys coming from all over the world for this fly-in. It's like the Sun and Fun in miniature. They're all powered by legitimate, true, real turbine engines that have been shrunk. Instead of, being this big around and that long, they're this big around and that long. And they put out anywhere from between 15 and 60 pounds of thrust. Some of the airplanes here are capable of speeds at 300 miles an hour, but we are governed by the Academy of Model Aeronautics an organization we all have to belong to. We are governed at 200. We actually have a special device on board that limits the airplanes to 200 miles an hour. So what you're seeing here, when these guys are going by, they're right at 200 miles an hour. The average size here is probably around 80 to 90 inches in wingspan and maybe 110 inches in length. Average weight, probably 40 pounds. Average cost, turnkey, on the field, ready to rock and roll, $15,000. Are all of them $15,000? No. Some of them here, the smaller ones, maybe a total investment of maybe $7,000. On the upper end, we have some here that are in the $35,000 and $40,000 bracket. But regardless of their price, they all fly about the same. They are all fast. They are as fast as you want them to be. These turbine engines, it's like a shark eating food. They ingest fuel. The more fuel you throw at them, the faster they want to go. And as you can hear, they sound like a full-size jet airplane. And in the distance, you cannot tell whether they're a real airplane or not unless you know your aviation. You know that it's a sport airplane, not a model of a real airplane, for an example. Some of these are military airplanes, some are sport airplanes, which really means it's a figment of someone's imagination that just decided to design and draw up and make a pretty jet.
This weighs about 39 pounds, powered with a jet cat Grille 160 burning jet A.
The pilots you're looking at here are very, very experienced pilots. They probably started with a little trainer airplane many, many years ago with a propeller, and they went up to maybe something a little faster, a little bit larger. Then they went into maybe a model of a World War II fighter, something heavier, a little more intricate, to fly. So most of these guys here have at least probably 10 years of experience. There are some that have 2 or 3 years, and they started out with jets. They learned, and they crashed a few in the beginning. But most guys, 10 years plus. I mean, I've got 40 years experience, so.
Nice slow configuration. Now this is not many of these jets that we want to run out of time and fly the shot with. As we try to stay within our speed band. David, gear down and locked, flaps deployed. A nice military break to landing with the shot code. David Shulman, 798.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. If you're just joining us, to my right, my co-host, Mr. Hank Longo, and we talked to you about aviation at the beginning of the show. Well, here's a sport. They're pretty much flying all the time, but not in the air.
But not in the air. And before we get into that, we have to thank our sponsor, the Florida Department of Citrus, for sponsoring segment 2 here on Sports Central.
Well, those oranges are grapefruit are flying off the trees right now. Yeah, everywhere you go, they're just
that time of the year.
It's amazing. People come down and sports teams or people down here for leisure, checking out stuff. Just fascinated with how those oranges are picked. And you ever watch those guys? Every once in a while, I'll just stop my vehicle and just watch them for a while.
Just climb up there, and you go from, when you look at the whole industry, how it goes from just picking that orange, and then if you go over to Florida's Natural in Lake Wales and see that huge processing plant and all that goes on after that orange is just plucked off the tree, it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, you can check it out at the visitor center right there at
across the street.
Florida's Natural. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, some good stuff, buddy.
Some boat racing going on.
Oh my gosh, we've had an awesome time this month of March, and it's continuing into the month of April here in Central Florida's Polk County. It's something that we're certainly very proud of, but we'd like the revenue coming in. That's the big deal. Well, two gentlemen that are no strangers to this show, and certainly no strangers to boat racing. R.C. Howie, and we have Gary Levin. And gentlemen, it's great to have you back because you also bring two very special events that are coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Tell us about it.
Well, the April 13th and 14th, we have the pros coming in, the U.S. Title Series at Lake Cannon,
Okay.
which is 2400 Avondale Boulevard, and that's going to be behind the Boys and Girls Club, and it's a benefit to Boys and Girls Club. And then the very following weekend is the second race, which will be at Lions Park in Lake Alfred, and that also to benefit children.
Okay.
Now, RC, you've been racing boats since like 1970, am I right? Been in
My 43rd year.
Oh my gosh!
Holy smokes.
And how does the series go on? You're having two races, one weekend after another weekend. How does that fit into the whole big picture of your summer?
Well, the U.S. Title Series runs around the country, and most of the drivers are up north in the Midwest. So to get them down here, it's easier to keep them down one more weekend because your expense is getting here. Your expense to stay for a week isn't as bad. And to help Polk County out, we're putting heads in beds.
These guys are
That's what we like. That's what we like.
That's what sports marketing likes to hear.
That's right, they do. Well, one of the things that's so interesting, at least fascinating to me, are the number of different classes that you have. It's fascinating in one breath, but it can also be a little confusing to the average person that's going to come out and watch the races. Can you guys talk a little bit about some of the different classes and what we can look to and for?
We divide it between a hydroplane and a runabout. They're two different distinct boats. They don't race against each other.
What is the difference?
Runabout has 1 point.
Okay.
Runabout is a distant cousin of a pleasure boat.
Okay.
Monohull, if you will. It has a flat bottom. The hydroplane has a tunnel down the middle, has sponsons off to the side. It's reminiscent of the Unlimited, so everybody knows Miss Budweiser. It's a smaller version. We further break it down by displacement of the motors. So we go from 125 cc's to 1100 cc's. That's roughly 7.5 cubic inches to 67 cubic inches. And then there's a special K-Pro class for the kids, 11 to 17. And it's based on an Evinrude and Johnson 15A model motor, race motor.
Okay.
And they run on a small hydroplane. It's only about 9 foot long. And they do about 50 to 55 miles an hour themselves.
Are those the flat bottom hydroplanes or?
Yeah, they're not like the tunnel boats.
Okay. Because those were real popular even when I was a kid. I remember you remember seeing it up in Michigan and in Minnesota and Wisconsin. They seemed to be used to be real popular up there. So as far as racing goes, Gary, what's the you're talking a little bit about people that are coming from different parts of the country, spending a couple of weeks down here, of course, in the wonderful warm sun, and what states? Where are these people coming from?
Especially after all the snow up in the New England and Northeast. We've got them coming from Connecticut, Michigan, Ohio, and Washington, the state of Washington.
Oh my
Holy
God!
moly, that's a long ways to go.
And they came to Florida last year. It was their first trip to Florida at Lake Cannon. They said we're looking forward to next year. And I know we've got pretty near 90 entries so far.
And as we're watching one of the boats on the monitor right now, how fast does the fastest boat go?
Well, we're going to have an interesting class this year as an experiment. It'll be 700 runabout, and that should be the fastest class out there. They out-accelerate the 500 runabouts, have a couple more miles an hour on top end. And if you take your stopwatch and do the elapsed time, you'll see which is the fastest class. And we're talking in the high 90s down the straightaway.
90 miles an hour.
High 90s.
And this is an oval course?
Oval course.
Okay, so it's, okay.
In fact, Lake Alfred will be a 3/4 mile measured record course. So we will be running for records at Lake Alfred.
Great.
You're sort of an engineer type of a guy. You know how all this stuff works, the internal combustion engine and so on. Every year it seems that records are broken. And why? Is it the prop? Is it gearing? Is it, they're changing carburation? What's the secret to breaking these records?
There's a lot to break in a record, and it's not easy. You have to have perfect water conditions, perfect air conditions, and then everything else on the boat has to be perfect.
Air conditions?
Well, yeah, because the carburation changes to the air pressure and the air temperature, and
Which is better, colder or warmer?
Colder.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's
dense air,
denser.
denser
Yeah,
air.
it's denser.
More air you put in, more power you make. And you have to readjust your jets as you go along as the air changes during the day. You might
really?
test in the morning
and then
and
it
have to
warms up
completely
in the
change your
afternoon.
jets in the afternoon.
Wow. And
It's amazing.
with the water, do you like it to have a little bit of a ripple so the boat isn't?
You've
You know,
got to
it's got a
have
little air,
chop.
or
You
you
have
gotta
to have
have
some
some chop
chop.
so
If it's
that
perfectly flat,
It kind of sticks to the
the
water.
hydros build up so much air pressure under the boat they'll actually blow over backwards.
Really?
And the runabouts will stick to the water. They won't go fast.
Okay.
Huh.
So both boats, even though they're uniquely different
Okay.
in design, they both need some chop.
Put us in the driver's seat for a second. You know, you plop down in there. How do you steer them? How do you adjust the, you know, I went like this. Of course, I'm so used to driving an inboard. But, you know, how is the speed adjusted? Is it a hand throttle? Is it a foot feed? Tell us about that.
Well, we have three distinct sitting positions, and there's only one sitting position. The capsule boats sit in a reinforced cockpit. They have a foot throttle.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a pedal to move their expansion chamber in and out, which helps changes the speed of the motor.
Okay.
And they have a steering wheel, fixed trim, unlike the tunnel boats. Most of the hydros are lay downs. Some are kneel downs. All the runabouts are kneel down.
Okay.
Lay down and kneel down is the same way. You have a throttle in your left hand and you have a pipe puller. Some of the lay down hydros actually have a foot pedal back there to move the expansion chambers in and out. And you hold on the steering wheel with your right hand. And that's how you drive
And
a
you're
race
laying
boat.
down in it.
Laying down on the hydros and kneeling down in the
So
runabouts.
if you're laying down, you got to be looking up. Isn't that a little?
They've got a
uncomfortable?
little wedge under their stomach on
Okay.
the bottom of the boat to hold them up so that they're looking forward.
Wow.
And the safety part of it, they're all wearing helmets.
Helmets, life jackets are specially made for racing, and cut-resistant sleeves and pants. Most is made out of Kevlar. There's some other special materials that are cut-resistant because the propellers are stainless steel and they're very sharp.
Wow. Break
So-
a bone, but they won't cut through you.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
They've proven themselves since we started using them in the 90s.
Wow.
That's the safety thing. How about in the capsules? Do they have oxygen tanks inside?
Yeah, they have a breathing system, so if they flip, they already have a mask on. They usually wear open face helmets, and they have a different kind of life jacket because they don't need a lot of buoyancy. They need to be able to get out of the capsule if it's upside down. They have a 6-point or 7-point harness system, just like in the race cars.
Okay.
They're basically sitting in a custom-made seat around them, just like the race car guys do.
Huh. It's amazing.
That's fascinating.
Gary, what about we talk about water skiing being a family sport, being a lifetime sport. What are the ages in boat racing?
Basically 14 and up. We've got some families that are in their 4th generation.
Really?
There'll be four generations in Lake Alfred and 4 generations at
And they're
Lake
still
Ann.
racing.
Yes.
Wow.
They're waiting for the 5th to grow up.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Hank, go ahead.
I was going to say, let's while we've got a few moments left here, let's talk about the Boys and Girls Club and how you raise money and how you're benefiting that organization, because that's so important here.
Well, it's the East Polk County Boys and Girls Club and they have 3 locations: Haines City, Lake Wales, and of course Havendale Boulevard in Winter Haven.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're charging for parking, which is $5 for parking. The entry fee is for spectators is $5 for the spectators, and we're going to have a host of vendors, including the Boys and Girls Club, are going to do their own vending also. So that's where the money's going to come from.
And a great opportunity.
Both you guys from Winter Haven, Lakeland, Bartow,
Indian Lake Estates.
Indian Lake Estates.
Wow.
That's almost in another county.
Just about. Well, Polk County's a big county.
Yeah. I live in Lake Hamilton.
Oh, you live in Lake Hamilton. Okay.
So do you practice out on Lake Hamilton?
No,
You don't?
it's usually too rough.
It does get windy out there.
It's a big lake.
Yeah, that's. Oh, then there's Little Lake Hamilton though too. So, You knew that.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Huh. Faye Downing lives on
Little Lake Hamilton?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, she does. Well, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. Once again, it's April 13th and 14th at Lake Cannon at the Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
The next weekend, April 20th and 21st at Lions Park in Lake Alfred. So make sure you check that out. Great family event. They do have drinks. They do have food. So
Check our website out.
And you can check out the website, which is?
raceforthekidsfoundation.org or todayandtonightmagazine.com.
Fantastic. Great. Well, both great organizations that do a lot for Polk County. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can't stop there with boat racing. We actually have an event that we just held a couple of weeks ago, Hank, and that was exciting as well. I mean, if you guys miss this boat racing, you're missing a lot because it is thrilling to say the least. Orange Cup Regatta on Lake Hollingsworth. Check this out. Hank and Mark, we'll be back right after this.
This is our 75th anniversary, the 75th running. Best of our knowledge, this is the second oldest athletic event in Polk County, only to the Detroit Tigers spring training. The racers like to come here because of the venue. They really enjoy being on Lake Hollingsworth. It has such a legacy of 75 years, and they enjoy being a part of it. Lake Hollingsworth is known as the Lake of Records. There have been more world records broken than any other country. The race that's going on behind me right this very moment is what we call the Jersey Skiffs, and they kind of bounce all over the course. So you sometimes wonder how in the world they can drive them in a straight line, but the fans love them, even the boat racers love them, so it's a lot of fun.
I've been racing tunnel boats for 10 years now all over the country. We go from Seattle to Michigan to Tennessee, Texas. We've raced here for the last 10 years. It's something we don't miss. My boat's an SST 200. It's a tunnel boat. It runs under the OPC class. We race at 120 mile an hour. We'll average 100 mile an hour around the course. We'll go through the corners at 4 Gs. We won't go below 100 miles an hour in the corners. We're fully encapsulated. I've got air system on it. It's a Mercury 2.5 fuel-injected, oil-injected motor. And you're looking to get into one of these between $80,000 and $90,000. I live in Lakeland, so I come to Orange Cup Regatta because, one, I live here. I'm trying to support the community, and two, it's the second longest race in the United States. We know a lot of people out here. It's a big family to us, so all of our family's here. The site's beautiful. The Lake Hollingsworth area is beautiful. The fans are coming out to watch us, so we're having a good time.
We started running the Orange Cup Regatta probably about, I think this is our 15th year here. Me and my husband both race. He started it, got me into it, and we really enjoy it. I'm the first woman to hold the Orange Cup Regatta, which you get a big trophy and you get to take it home and look at it for a year, and then it continues. You bring it back and then somebody else uses it. I run in the SST 60 class, which is a 60 horsepower stock engine. Whenever I come out of the race, I have to weigh at least 825 pounds. If I'm a pound less, I get DQ'd.
Been brings spectators from all over the country also. It's just a great event. It's very family oriented. The families enjoy it. We have a lot of people that are parked around the lake right now watching the race. So we encourage everybody to please come down and come to the lake, enjoy yourself.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed the boat racing, and there's a lot more coming up as mentioned, the 13th and 14th, and of course the 20th and through the 22nd out in Lake Alfred at Lions Park. But that was the Orange Cup Regatta. What a great weekend, and Gene Engel, you know,
a wonderful job. That's gone on for what, 70-some years
77
now?
years.
77 years.
Been phenomenal.
Cup Regatta. Well, we want to welcome you to our third segment of Sports Central, and want to thank the folks at Contempo Vacation Homes for being our sponsor for this segment.
Well, we've gone from brawn, now we have beauty. Sun and Fun Fly-Ins.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't let that, never mind. This is a family show, everyone, and we shall keep it that way. Stacie Rine, great to have you with us from Sun and Fun. And Stacie, I'm going to jump right into it because you're a former pilot, a military pilot.
Yes, sir.
And you flew F-18s?
No, I left that to the boss.
Oh.
I went through the Naval Academy, graduated in 95, and got my wings in 97, and began flying the P-3 Orion.
Okay.
And we carry Mavericks, Harpoons, and Slams, and we protect the battle group, and then did night maritime interdiction for oil smugglers and sanctions violators, and we took lots of pictures.
We like that job.
Now, where did you do this? Where were you stationed?
The Persian Gulf. I did 4 deployments overseas.
Oh, you did?
Now, did you ever have to land on an aircraft carrier?
No desire whatsoever. All of
didn't...
my runways were right where I left them. They did not move.
They don't move.
No, sir.
They're stationary.
Exactly.
Now, how long have you been out of the military?
I got out in 2008.
2008. So, like, you're still wet under the ears.
Yeah, that's why it's nice working for Light, you know?
Yeah.
We can say all the same acronyms and he knows what I'm talking about.
He's the F-18 pilot.
Yes.
I've always, you know, some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen in jets was an F-18, but we're done with an F-18. But anyway, Sun and Fun coming up April 9th through the 14th. The second largest fly-in in the world, second only behind Oshkosh, Wisconsin. But this is popular, and I think we're going to have a huge crowd this year simply because of the sequestration.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff being shut down, but not Sun and Fun.
No. We said it's like a freight train. We can't stop it at this point.
Yeah.
We are very blessed to have a local jet team, the Black Diamonds. All the other air shows that were canceled that couldn't have the Thunderbirds or the Blues, and that was their bread and butter. For us, we are an expo. We'd like to point that out, that it's not just the air show. That's the cool part. That's 3 to 6 every day and then 2 night air shows. But the people that come here to do business in Central Florida, the vendors, we have 500 exhibitors, the forums, the workshops, and the other events, that's going to hold Sun and Fun strength this year too.
I mean, that's, when you think about that, and they're buying stuff right at Sun and Fun. I mean, and they can be expensive, or it can be as simple as a hat, but you know, it's some pretty high ticket items.
Well, the thing that's neat about Sun and Fun is just the variety of aircraft that you get there. There's a lot of, you know, garage-made airplanes there that come to this event, and there's quite a market for those type of airplanes, and those are the kind of vendors that you have, and then you continue to go up the ladder with the, you know, with the aircraft that's on display there and the companies that are, you know, vendors to those type of people.
You're exactly right. We've got everything from remote control. I heard you talking about that earlier. We've got the RCs to the home built, light sport. You've got vintage. You've got warbirds. You've got single engine, turboprops, jets. We've got JetBlue bringing in an A320 with 180 people, 90 of which are students from around the country. We're going to share and buddy those students up with our CFAA students and Civil Air Patrol. It's massive, and I don't know if everybody realizes just the broad reach we have when people come in here from 82 countries and from the southeast and from across our nation.
That's amazing. You know, the CFAA, if you're wondering what that is the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. My son Hunter, who is 16 in a week, he attends there, and so he is a sophomore, but absolutely loves it. But the thing is, kind of the segue here is education. You know, there's so much education, and not just during the 6 days or 5 days of sun and fun. You have education going on all year round. Tell us a little bit about your commitment to education and growing the sport of aviation, if you will.
It's exciting. You know, I tell everybody I'm the walking, talking mission of Sun and Fun. You know, I'm that kid that came to Polk County when I was 12, and I saw airplanes, and I touched them, and I got to go flying, and you see where it led. It led my career. I was at the CFA this morning for a board meeting, and Hunter's in school. He's at school today. And we talked just about the broad range of opportunities they have. You know, having the wind tunnel, having the Bueller Restoration Center, having cutout views of airplane engines right there for you to touch and feel and hold. We have all the gifts, and we have the weather. And that's the other part. When we have 4 aero clubs on site, and those kids get out of school at 1, and they walk right over, and they get into the airplane, there's a really good bond to understanding vectors in the classroom when you know you're going to use them at 3:30 that afternoon, so they don't sleep too much through avionics class or math. But we do. We bring the children and students all through the summer camps, Wings and Things program in November. We give them opportunities to touch, feel, and smell the aviation world.
And as they're learning this, do they get to fly a lot, or when does the flying come into their education? Right from the very beginning, or do you have to go for so long? I mean, because they definitely just don't say, okay, there's your plane, go take off, and good luck.
You'd be surprised. We've got 7 and 11-year-olds that sit in front of a simulator for 3 days, and then they get to go up on their first flight in the pattern. And the instructor pilots say, you know what, they usually can take the controls and take a lap.
Wow.
The hand-eye coordination is improving. They're doing very well. But for 9th through 12th graders at CFAA, they are allowed to go out. We've got scholarship programs in place. If they maintain a 2.75 GPA, we pay for 75% of their pilot's license.
Wow.
So they start flying.
And how much is a pilot's license?
Probably about $65,000 right now.
Oh my gosh! Wow. And is that when you say $65,000? Is that the cost of going through all the schooling to get to that license? That's just not what you pay and they give you the license. That's all the training and education that you need to go through and graduate from in order to get the license. So that's the same as, you know, a college degree that you're going to be
But if you
spending
put it in
that
perspective, though, you know, and we're talking about different sports and what it costs to play different sports, they all have a price tag. And you take a look at that over a period of time. The sport of water skiing, the average ski boat now is $47,000. So you're comparing $47,000 ski boat, you know, water skis, gas, insurance, and all of that type of thing. You get a pilot's license, you're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
really in the same ballpark. So, and one of the beauties is Sun and Fun is a 501c3 too.
Yes, sir.
And so it's one of those organizations that's not for profit. You know, and you guys do so much. Let's jump back to the Sun and Fun, the flying itself. You actually have the United States Navy Band Wind Ensemble there, so a little bit of arts and culture with sports and aviation. You have, on Tuesday, you have, in addition to the Navy Band, Jill's Cash Box Country Music Band. So there's entertainment going on all the time.
Every night.
And fireworks.
Yep.
I mean, it is an entertainment extravaganza. But I think one of my big pitches for Sun and Fun, and we've got some great footage up here on the, maybe you can walk us through some of this stuff because, you know, some of our viewers are not real familiar with this stuff. And of course, they're putting the wings up here. Some of the activities, it's really kind of an interesting day for anybody who want to take their family out there.
You can see the variety of aircraft they get there, and the place is just packed.
Well, you can walk up, you can see it, you can touch it, talk to aviators. I mean, this is some great stuff, both military and civilian.
Yes.
But primarily this experimental aircraft is a lot different than flying a military ship.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Have you flown any handmade aircraft?
Handmade?
You know, guys that construct
Home built.
them.
Home built? I try
It's
and
not like
stay.
a cookie head.
Well, somebody might be making all the parts as well.
I let somebody else go first. How about that? Yeah.
Give that a try. I'll follow you.
She's holding back. I can see it. You put a bullseye on you. Special flying activities. You've got the Air America Day. Tell me what that's about.
We have Air America Day. We have Casino Night. I see some of your lists there. If you please go to the website, which we will direct you to, it's www.sun-n-fun.org. And I cannot possibly, in however many minutes we do or don't have, share the excitement, because none of this will make sense. Please go to the special activities page and look at each day. Weekday passes, I think we're going to get to this anyway, are $37 per day. But if you buy a week, it's $150 if you're 17 and older. And I will encourage you, please, go and pick out whatever interests you, and we probably have 5 things under that topic that will be there just for you. We are featuring the Black Diamonds jet team every single day, so we have loud, shiny, and fast.
Wow.
Yes, sir. That's what I said. When we have a resident jet team that comes in when all the other jet teams have gone elsewhere, those types of activities every day will draw the crowds. And come through the gate to watch it. Like you said, we're a not-for-profit. I know everybody likes to sit at Lakeside Village and sit in their own backyard, but you miss a lot. Come out to the field.
Yeah, you do. When those planes, or when you're actually out there and you can see the planes coming down and landing and taking off, and they're right in front of you, I mean, it's different than just to be able to watch them fly overhead.
Talk about veterans. They're the reasons. You're the reasons.
Yeah,
that we're here today.
This year more than ever. You know, we don't take political sides on what's happening, but when you look at aviation in general, no matter what your political preference is, we need to preserve the pilots. There is not a war right now generating a ton of pilots like World War II pilots that came out in Vietnam and Korea. We have a deficit of pilots, and these veterans that come out and they stand there and they have served and they are proud, we honor them at every opportunity we can. And one thing I say about Sun and Fun, it is a pass down. You know, the 80-year-old person's teaching the 18-year-old who's teaching the 8-year-old. And when you see a 84-year-old war veteran standing next to and saluting the flag with a 17-year-old ROTC, you get choked up. Yeah. It's a very meaningful, highly patriotic event that we have, and we honor the veterans at every turn during the event.
Well, that's some great stuff. And every year, I mean, all 5 branches of the military are out there in some way, shape, or form, and it's some great stuff. You know, your military background does come out every once in a while, and addressing me as sir, and of course Hank as hey you is okay. But when you're at home, do you say yes sir to your husband?
Well,
no, or does he say?
We'll plead the fifth on that. No, we don't have to render salutes any longer, so we're out. We're good. We're good.
And you have a couple of kids, right?
He was. We have 2 children. We have Justin and Megan, and my husband was an admiral's aide, but I actually made 04 before he did. So it was very embarrassing on the John F. Kennedy when my husband saluted me.
Wow. Yeah. But he still continues to salute you at home, I'm assuming.
No, come on, Mark. You probably have all the Polk County utilities watching this right now, so it's going to get a little warm in here in a minute.
Yeah. Oh, you've got a lot of stuff going on out there, and going to the website is truly a great idea. And there's sponsorship opportunities out there as well for those corporations that want to get involved in this sport, or companies that want to get involved in this sport, and you're probably the best person to talk to about that. So, you know, give Stacie a call if that so happens to be your forte and it's something you're interested in, because we're talking hundreds of thousands of people annually, a great audience. I mean, it's good stuff.
So 39th Sun and Fun, once again, April 9th to 14th, and go to
sun-n-fun.org.
Fun.org.
That's good, Hank. That's impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely stuff. Tickets are reasonable. Daily air show, $15. I mean, gee, mini Christmas. That's awesome. Yep. Yeah, and special deals for kids. Go to the website. You can find out there what's happening. Stacie, it's a pleasure, as always, to have you join us. Did a great job on our radio show last night, our sports talk show, and we're looking forward to having you in the studio again.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for your support.
Absolutely.
Glad to be a part of it.
Ooh, wow, we're moving quickly here. Of course, majority of it's aviation or it's boat racing, Hank, so lots of speed, lots of fun. Speaking of fun, sort of a fun guy. His name, Super Bowl champion Ray Lewis. Have a special press conference you might want to check out. We'll be back right after this. Stick around, everybody.
Lewis, if you could join me here, sir. And the proclamation reads, and it states, whereas Ray Anthony Lewis Jr. was born May 15, 1975 in Bartow, Florida. And whereas Ray Lewis Jr. was an All-American linebacker and a two-time state wrestling champion at Kathleen High School, and in 2009 was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Kathleen. And whereas Ray attended University of Miami, played for the Miami Hurricanes, and was named to the All-American team all 3 years that he played there, and then earned his undergraduate degree in Arts and Science in 2004 at the University of Maryland University College. And whereas Ray played his entire professional career for the Baltimore Ravens, spanning 17 years from 1996 to 2013. And whereas during Ray's career he was named the Associated Press All-Pro 10 times, won the Defensive Player of the Year award twice in 2000 and 2003, played in 13 Pro Bowls and was named the Super Bowl's 35th most valuable player. And whereas Ray has been heavily involved in charitable activities throughout his professional career, he started the Ray Lewis 52 Foundation to provide personal and economic assistance to today's at-risk youth, and in 2006 received the JV Act of Kindness Award for his work in the community. And whereas Ray has since been involved in pressing political, business, and philanthropic leaders for a stronger commitment to disability sports, both here at home and in the developing world. And whereas Ray, on May 22nd, 2010, a portion of Baltimore, Maryland's North Avenue was renamed Ray Lewis Way in honor of the famous linebacker and his charitable work. At this point, I, Gal Field, as mayor of the city of Lakeland, do hereby proclaim the entire month of March 2013 as Ray Lewis Jr. month in the city of Lakeland.
On behalf of Upsilon Xi chapter of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, we would like to welcome our newly made brother into fraternity of one of the greatest fraternities in college history.
Brother Ray Lewis Jr. from the Upsilon Xi chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Lakeland, Florida, March 2nd, 2013. It's called the Omega Man's Prayer. It's a Father God, thank you for blessing me to uphold the four cardinal principles of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. When I think of manhood, I think of you. When I think of scholarship, I think of you. When I think of perseverance, I think of you. When I think of uplift, I think of you. But most of all, when I think of you, when I think of why friendship is essential to the soul, I think of you. This is from us to you, written by you. It reads, presented to Ray Lewis, Super Bowl 47 champion, 2013, March 2nd, 2013.
As a child growing up in Lakeland, Lakeland was the foundation of who I became as a man, of what a vision at a young age couldn't have happened without the presence of a Ernest Joe, a Clint Wright, a Stephen Poole, a Gary Lineberger. I cannot tell you how much time I spent with Coach Joe as a man. And honestly, I got so tired of seeing that red truck pull up with that light. He was so much of a father figure. He would, no matter what corner you was on, that red truck would pop up, and the first thing he'll put is this big white light. He's just shining in your face and ask you, come here, just come here. And when you get there, you know you can't lie to him, because he kind of 6'4", 6'5", so he kind of stand up over you. If I had a gift to give to Lakeland to repay you back, it would be my effort. It would be every time I did not want to get up, I got up. That's what our city has always represented. That's who we are. Every day might not be a good day, but we'll find a way to make it a great day. Thank you, Lakeland. Thank you, Lakeland.
Thank you to every administration that's on this board right now. Thank you to all the coaches. My family, again, thank you. I tell you, I can never repay you guys, but I can only reward you with telling you that I gave everything I got. And you guys were the major reason why I gave everything I got and walked away from it the way I did. Thank you.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. And yes, we do have celebrities, and a lot of them, in Polk County. Another element of Polk County sports, brought to you by the great crew at PGTV and Sports Central. Wow, Hank, they do a fantastic job.
They do a great job.
The camera work has been phenomenal.
Look forward to our Fridays with PGTV. And we want to welcome all of you to our fourth segment of Sports Central, and a big thank you to the Holiday Inn Lakeland North on I-4 for sponsoring our final segment of the show.
Well, in that final segment, everyone, our local update. What's happening? Besides the great events we just talked about, we're going to kick it off on April 6th with the Florida Ice Cream Festival, brought to you by Magnify Credit Union. They've really got behind this, Hank, and all sorts of crafts and different things going on. You can get a taste of different types of ice cream, and how they're going to judge all this type of stuff, I'm not quite sure. But national manufacturers, local manufacturers, micro manufacturers. Best part about it, only $5.
$5. Well, hey, we got a quick wrap up here. I want to tell you about the Winter Haven Hospital Foundation's Citric Classic 5K run. That's going to be at Legoland, and then the Rowdy Cup. The Rowdy Cup, City of Winter Haven doing a great job as always, and sports marketing is assisting them. The marketing is over 1,000 swimmers, Hank, are coming in at the Rowdy Gaines Pool. You're looking for a hotel room, you better get it early. And the National Collegiate Paintball Association's National Championship is coming up April 19th. And the 19th through the 21st is going to go on in Lakeland. And rocking and rolling out at Lake Myrtle, everyone. If you haven't checked out the Russ Matt Spring Invitational Collegiate Baseball Championships, make sure you go to you can go to visitcentralflorida.org or visitcentralflorida.com. There we go. We'll get it to you. Visit centralflorida.org or centralfloridasports.com. It's all great stuff. We'll get that to you without any problem. But Lake Myrtle, we were talking about, Hank. We've got to thank some friends here. Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, Holiday Inn Lakeland North, the Hyatt Place in Lakeland, Ramada Inn Lakeland, Hampton Inn, Winter Haven. Okay. Our next live show, it is April 5th. So make sure you check us out then. If you can't get enough of Hank and Mark, check out the following dates and times for re-airs of this show on a daily basis. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. This is Mark Jackson for Hank Longo and the great crew at PGTV. We'll see you again next time.